That was farther back than than I had anticipated. Wow. Okay, so hey guys, today we are going to go through a bit of a meal prep. Before we get started, I apologize. The lighting in the window sucks. I did my best, and I apologize that I sound somewhat congested. Anyway, meal prep. I'm essentially going to be showing what I do. I am only going to do like the veggies and carbs today because I don't have the protein yet from the store. So you can add whatever protein you want to this. I typically choose a carb, a veggie, and a protein per meal. And I meal prep lunches and dinners. If you're trying to meal prep for more than 1 week, then there are certain things that are easier to freeze and not freeze, but you kind of learn as you go with that. So for this week, let me get my planner and we'll chat about what I'm planning on doing. Okie doke. So full disclosure, I don't really care what I eat. I like eating the same thing every day, but you can combine different things. You can prep like the same thing and then make different combinations for the week if you want to. So I'm gonna have some beets, turnips, broccoli, and then a protein. And then I am going to do a little bit of a stir-fry-ish kind of thing with tofu, carrots, rice quinoa, vegan meatballs, and zucchini. And then I also need to meal prep or do the kombucha because we do our own kombucha. And then I'm going to surprise my husband with some cookies. So that is the plan. I haven't made him cookies in a while, so I'm just gonna follow the recipe on the back of the chocolate chip packages because he'll be fine. So let's go ahead and pull everything out of the fridge and get started. I feel like I'm forgetting something. The turnips I already have in the freezer, so these are just gonna get defrosted. Turnips, rutabaga also is really good for in the freezer. Carrots also freeze pretty well, things like that. So I just made a poop ton a while ago and now I have them. Beets are coming out of the can because honestly I like these better and they're cheaper, to be frank. So essentially I'm going to roast some broccoli. I'm probably gonna keep a little bit raw for my husband because I'm not gonna have a whole lot of this. So our oven actually takes forever to preheat, so we're gonna go ahead and do that. And we'll do the broccoli here. So I do want you to keep in mind that what I am doing is not the end all be all. I have other foods in addition to what I'm cooking here. So these are just more so for ideas and to give you an overall idea of how I meal prep and how I think through things. So I sometimes will even, depending on how, if I have like a particular goal, for example, like right now, I'm trying to prioritize protein a little bit more. So I will make sure that I am getting enough protein. So sometimes as I'm planning before I go grocery shopping, I will track my food for the following week for a day and like just what I plan on eating. And then I know if I am planning appropriately to help me set myself up like to meet my goals. I don't think I did this or that with this, so I'll probably need to double check and make sure, especially when I'm prepping the protein, and just make sure I don't need to add anything additional. So I'll probably do tofu and like some vegan meatballs or vegan burgers or something like that. And honestly, I'm not sure what else, but I also always have a protein shake for breakfast. I personally like Legion. They have great ingredients, great customer service, tasty vegan protein, which is kind of unheard of. So I personally really like their stuff, and so that's what I do for breakfast. So I'm just prepping lunches and dinners, and then a little bit of extra stuff for my husband, since honestly, he normally does the meal prep. And so I'm trying to help out a little bit more this week. And I do really like to use a lot of seasonings. I don't do a lot of the pre-made seasonings because they have a lot of salt in them, and I'm just not a huge fan of adding salt. I notice I bloat a lot more, and with like my family history of high blood pressure and things like that. All right, so that's the broccoli. I'm gonna take some and keep some raw. Since my husband likes to add some to salads that he has during the week. We'll throw that in the fridge, spread that out a little bit, and then figure out what seasonings we want to do. Let's throw some crushed red pepper on, because that's always good. Italian seasonings. And not paprika. Nah, we'll just do the basics. Alexa, set broccoli timer for 30 minutes. So we're gonna set that aside because I'm gonna use that for the stir fry stuff on the stove, but I'm gonna try to get stuff in the oven first. Back of the cookies. That's disgusting. This apartment has a bug problem. Okie doke. So we are doing butter. Dude, I haven't bought butter. Like the last butter thing that I had took me like 3 years to go through. I'm pretty sure my husband has an idea that I am doing this because I don't get butter or chocolate chips ever. And we're just using one of these. Butter, sugars, eggs. So, sugar. I was talking to my mom and she said I could probably cut back on some of the sugar because it was super sweet. So I might do that because I never actually followed the recipe to the T. I can't remember the last time that I used this. This is going to be a mess. I feel like this is a terrible idea. Don't actually watch me. I suck at cooking. That's probably about right. I feel like you're supposed to mash that down, but we'll go under a little bit with that. All right, and then an egg. Baking soda. Short people problems. 1 teaspoon, so we're doing a ½ teaspoon baking soda. Oh, that's baking powder. We don't want that. We want this. So I climbed up on the counter for literally nothing. A little salt. Dude. Vanilla. I hope I have enough. Success. So we finally mix. Let's try this. That actually makes it a lot easier. Not using the stove is recommended for a counter, but small kitchen problems. Oh, also, I am on my toes right now, so short people problems as well. My arm's getting tired. I think I actually do have a mixer. I don't remember the last time I used it though. All right, so that looks pretty well mixed, and now it's time to add the chocolate chips. Oh, I meant to do chocolate chip cookies. I forgot about that. Oh well, maybe next time. I put away the instructions. And I will have to have 2. Oh look, it finally went up to temperature. These ones are sad because they don't have as many chocolate chips. I'm going to take a couple of chocolate chips. That way that one's not as sad. And we throw it in. Set cookie timer for 12 minutes. All right, so now I'm going to go on to the stir fry while we have the broccoli in the oven and the cookies in the oven. So I'm gonna do a rice and quinoa mix. I'm gonna make extra. That way my husband can have some that's not gonna be in the stir fry, so I'm just gonna throw it into the vegetables and call it a day because I don't really care that much. And yes, I spilled water on my pans while washing dishes. Also, if you haven't tried rice and quinoa mixed together, it's really good. And then we're just gonna throw some seasonings in. Set quinoa timer for 15 minutes. Now that's going, we're gonna go ahead and get started on the stir fry stuff. So we are going to do the carrots. Is there a reason I do large ones? They're cheaper by like a couple cents, and I am sometimes that cheap, and I kind of like them better, honestly, although they are a pain in the butt to peel. Ah! You didn't see that. Turn off broccoli timer. All right, so we had both the cookie timer go off and the broccoli timer. So let's check this. Broccoli has a little bit more to go. Cookies are molding together and don't look quite done. Yeah. Set cookie timer for 3 minutes. So we're gonna add some oil. Oh, I should have used peanut oil. Oh well.
Your cookie timer is done.
Turn off cookie timer. I'm not super happy with these. I feel like they have another like. I didn't say anything. Alexa, shut up. We use the watch. All right, let's see what is here. Yeah, that's probably good. Yeah. That is stupid. All right. Cookies are done. So those are going to cool, and I'm just going to chop up veggies. So broccoli timer just went off. We have the carrots prepped and cooking. I'm chopping up some green peppers, and then I'm gonna chop up the zucchini after that. Broccoli is done, and Alexa's still trying to chat with me. Be quiet. I'll go ahead and throw some seasonings in with the carrots. So I'm gonna do some garlic and ginger. Do we not have ginger? And now let's chop up more veggies. The green peppers, and then last veggie, the zucchini. Okay, so now we are done chopping the zucchini, so we're just gonna throw that in the wok. And hopefully not make a mess. And make a mess. We'll just pretend that didn't happen. And now we'll just stir it all in, and then we can clean up some of this stuff while that's cooking. And in the meantime, the quinoa and rice is now done, so I can divvy that up and do all of that. All right, so we are gonna go ahead and put everything in containers while the stir fry is still cooking. So we have the cookies, and then we're just gonna throw them in here and hope they all fit. It looks like we will need a second container. And then we're just gonna throw them on the top, and hopefully my husband will realize what's in here. All right, so now cookies are all put away. Okay, so took a little bit of a break for some client calls, and all of this stuff is done except I think I have to do the kombucha. Yeah, just the kombucha. So we're gonna go ahead and package this. Oh, and then I also have to do the protein, but that's gonna be done another day. We are going to portion everything out in containers. We have the raw green peppers that I cut up for my husband. The first meal is the beets, turnips, broccoli, and then I'll add the protein. And then I'll probably, honestly, if that's like my lunch, I'll probably have like a snack with it, because I don't know if that's gonna necessarily be enough, but we'll play that by ear, and I might add a little bit with tracking things, but we'll see. So essentially I have to do the beets, turnips, broccoli. So essentially we have the beets that were roasted previously. They have some seasonings. They are somewhat thawed right now. I'm just gonna dump them in because I'm not planning on eating them right now. So I'm just gonna split them up. into 5 because I typically like to meal prep for the week, and then on weekends it's a little bit more flexible. So this just helps me set myself up for success during the week, so I don't really have to think about it. It's one less thing to think about, and when I'm hungry, I'm hungry. I want food. Like, I'm the type of person that doesn't even wait for things to be warmed up in the microwave because I'm so hungry, and I just want the food. Meal prepping just really works for me to help me feel good in my body, because if I eat like crap, then I feel like crap, and then I can't do what I want to do, and it's just not good. So meal prepping just really helps me personally keep on track. So that's pretty much why I do it. Okay, so turnips are there, and then we have the broccoli. So that's good for the broccoli, and the rest will be for my husband. And then now we have the canned beets. All right, so we're just gonna throw some in, each one. All right, cool. So that's done. All I'm gonna do is add some protein to it, and a snack. All right, so finished that meal. Now we are going to the stir-fry-ish thing. That's just veggies. We're gonna add some tofu to it, and then some vegan meatballs for some protein. And then we should be good. And then we're gonna do the kombucha. Let's get started. Rice and quinoa, we're just gonna split it up and then throw the rest in a container. All right, and then the rest is going to be for my husband or in the freezer for another week. Because this is something that's really easy if you're like meal prepping for multiple weeks, or like if you're going out of town or something like that. Just throw it in the freezer and you got it, and you don't have to worry about it. And it's just really easy. You can freeze it in like one massive container, or you can freeze it in individualized portions too. So depending on what you want or need, like just make a poop ton of it and have extra. So essentially what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna let my husband take whatever he wants, and then we're just gonna freeze the rest for a future supply for when we're running short on time. All right, next we have the stir-fry-ish kind of thing. It does not look super appetizing because it's been cooling and it may or may not have burnt it slightly, but do I care? No, I'm not picky with this kind of thing. And this is gonna be a pain in the butt to clean because I don't have a big sink yet. Lovely. All right, and then I'm just gonna throw in some vegan meatballs from the store. I'm gonna just do like a half a serving just because I'm gonna have the tofu with it. So this is just really adding a little bit of extra. I just got these from Aldi. Aldi actually has a fair amount of good, somewhat reasonably priced stuff. And then essentially at this point, I'm just going to add some tofu to this, and then that'll be a meal. And then that's easy, it's done. And I think we're good now, except for just the kombucha. Okay, it's time to make some kombucha. So kombucha, I started drinking it after my shoulder surgery. Well, we'll skip that story. That's probably a little too much information. Anyway, pain meds, digestion, yeah, we may or may not cut that part out. But essentially, we have some homemade kombucha. So this is from last round. This is what the final product looks like. I'm just popping it. It sounds like a good fizz there. They're gonna go in the fridge. So essentially, how it works, and that is why we will have backsplashes in the house. That's going to be a fizzy one. This is after the second fermentation. Essentially, you have these massive jars, and they have a little SCOBY in there, which ferments the tea. Oh, I can't do this because I didn't make the tea. All right, so long story short, I probably won't show you the full kombucha making process because I forgot to make the tea. So essentially, I need to make some sweet tea so I can put it in that, and so you can't take it out before you have it ready, and it has to cool and whatnot. So I'm gonna go ahead and make the tea for these two. So essentially, I put in here sweet tea, and then the SCOBY ferments it for about a week, maybe 2 weeks. And then we do the second fermentation to get this product here. So we like a berry ginger flavor. That's like our go-to. So that's what I'm gonna make. These have been sitting out for a couple of days, maybe like 3 or 4 days for that second fermentation after you put the flavoring in and then fill it up with that. So essentially I'm gonna take that, put it in the bottles with the flavoring, and then I'm gonna make some more. Because we're gonna need more bottles than this because we have too much in the fridge right now. So let's go ahead and drink some kombucha. So essentially what I'm gonna do is I'm just going to strain it in to take all the flavoring out. And that one's not quite as fizzy. I personally would like it a little bit more fizzy than that, but you work with what you got. It's somewhat inconsistent, but it's a whole lot cheaper than the store brand or the store kombucha because that stuff is expensive. All right, and that's that. It's actually better than I thought it was gonna be. It definitely has a little bit more carbonation than, I thought it was gonna be pretty flat, but it has a little good fizz, which I'm not a huge fan of carbonation, so this is carbonated for me, but if I'd like drink a soda, it would be a whole nother level. All right, so we're gonna take some ginger. I'm gonna cut this up. I'm just gonna prep it. So we have a little bit left over from last time, frozen. So essentially we take frozen berries, we nuke them to warm them up so it's easier to get them into the bottle. And that's blended with some fresh ginger. And that's what we use to flavor the kombucha. So I'm gonna go ahead and prep all this and show you the prep part. Potentially I may or may not show you the bottling part because that might just get done at a random time. So we got the berries. And we'll throw that in there. That should probably be good. I feel like someone's gonna yell at me for how I'm cutting this, but and then, so this is now warm slash, I did that a little too much, but now this is going to be sweet for the SCOBY, or not for the SCOBY, but like, yeah, it's gonna be sweet to sweeten up the kombucha, is what I'm trying to say, I guess. Essentially the rest of this is going in here, gonna get blended up, and then gonna get split into the containers. So now we have our container. So, pro tip, line them all up. Here. Tear that off and then tie them together. And then it's just easier to grab them all out at once. All right, and now we got the second one on here because we have 2 total ones. All right, so while that's going, I'm still going to finish this and then I'm gonna blend it all up. I do need a new blender, so if it starts oozing out of the bottom, I know that's happening. And we'll see how long it takes for it to be unmanageable, and then I will purchase another one. Set tea timer for 12 minutes. So the tea timer went off, so I'm gonna grab some sugar, and my husband should be coming home soon, so we'll see if he notices the cookies, potentially. I may or may not be able to get this on video or not. Hey.
Hello. I just left, so I'm 8 minutes away, 5 to 8 minutes away, I'd say.
Are you planning on going to Kroger tomorrow? Are you planning on going to Kroger tomorrow? I think we're about a cup short on sugar. I think we're good with everything, minus the cooling, because this essentially needs to get down to room temperature, And we need another cup of sugar.
So I was just editing the meal prep video and realized that I left you guys hanging. Essentially, shortly after that, my husband came home. He was not at all surprised about the cookies. As I had suspected, he suspected something because I don't get butter or chocolate chips ever. So they were not as good as I would have hoped. Our oven, I'm pretty sure, messed him up a little bit, or at least he blamed our oven instead of me, so we'll go with it. But yeah, I'm not the best cook. Anyways, so we got the sugar, we finished the kombucha. My husband finished making it super early the next morning, so that was done. I wasn't about to break out the camera and film all of that, but all of it got done. If you do like this kind of video, go ahead and let me know, and let me know if you have any ideas or if you have any questions. And if you do want some workout tips to supplement your nutrition, go ahead and watch these videos here.